So we are live now. Good afternoon and namaste to all. I, Lalita, on behalf of the entire team of Jabalpur Incubation Center, welcomes all the viewers of this startup training session for the inspiring startup of Jabalpur. आज का सेशन बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट और इन्फॉर्मेटिव है उन सभी स्टार्टअप्स के लिए जो आपने इनोवेटिव आइडिया को एक प्रोडक्ट के रूप में देकर मार्केट में लाना चाहते हैं. इमेजिन दैट यू हैव एन आइडिया फॉर योर स्टार्टअप और आप अपने इस स्टार्टअप आइडिया को नेक्स्ट लेवल पर ले जाना चाहते हैं. फॉर दैट आप रिसर्च करते हैं एंड यू फाउंड दैट आपका आइडिया ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट यू विल डू इन सच सिचुएशन. आज इन सभी सवालों के जवाब हमारे इस सेशन में हैं. बिफोर वी स्टार्ट, I would like to welcome our guest and speaker, Mr. Vignesh Raja. He is a well-known startup mentor and project head of Influentials. साथ ही में I would like to welcome my co-host, Mr. Akash Dubey. He is a startup consultant in Jabalpur Incubation Center. I request Vignesh sir to give his guidance to our startups who are facing such problems. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Lalita, and good to see you as well, Akash. So let me
Okay, sir.
quickly share the screen and we'll get started. Oh yeah, thanks. I can see the presentation as well. Uh, okay, so the today's topic is more about the startup idea, and let's quickly get started. So the basic idea is, I'm sure each of you will agree that every business begins with a simple idea, and the most important thing is you have to understand that the idea has to be unique, innovative, and relevant in your business. So
Yes.
one specific thing you have to see is how innovative is your idea. So even before we talk about idea, you have to see how relevant the problem is. Are you solving a pain point? What are the problems which are impacting your business, and how can you solve the problem with your idea? So many people may have a lot of ideas, but is it relevant? Is it important? Is it useful? So that's the basic thing you will have to be a little watchful over. And let's get started. So uh, can we have the next screen? Okay, so even before this, I also want to share some perspectives. Many people may have seen different ideas. So some ideas have been picked from international communities. Take the case of even Flipkart. So or Amazon for that matter. So Amazon started first in the US or the international markets, but Flipkart was initiated as a company uh, by ex-employees of Amazon. So the basic idea you will have to understand is the ideas can be similar, but the most important thing is how are you going to make it relevant for your community, and which is where the concept of piloting starts. So many times whenever जब भी आप अपने business चालू करते समय आपके location, so look at things from your region. So in fact, let me take the case of even Flipkart as an example. The first product which Flipkart themselves sold in the business in Bangalore was they sold books. So that was the first
Yes.
product they sold. So look at which categories you will want to focus on. And the minute they started selling books, they started focusing on other products. So while today, after 10, 11, 12 years of Flipkart's existence, you may see that they have increased their product portfolio, they've increased their product categories. They have realized that you start somewhere and there would be a lot of mistakes, but you do a lot of course correction. You understand what the customers want. So the most important thing is try to see what your customers want. So another question or another input I would again like to see is I would like to take the example of e-commerce again. If you look at after Flipkart, a lot of other companies came into play. What about Shopclose? What about Snapdeal? So you have to understand that if people felt Flipkart is already there, why do I have to start another e-commerce company? So the most important thing is the way you target, so your audience. So which is where shop clues as a company, they realize that there is a market for them to focus on the tier 2 and tier 3 businesses. So the fundamental idea which I want to offer here is there could be ideas which already are there, there could be startups which are already there, but who is your target audience? Is their business potential? So that is a very, very important point I would like to offer here. And likewise, Snapdeal, if you notice, I'm not too sure how many people remember, but the earlier way they started their business was more about coupons. So they started their business more as coupon. So this is another element which I want you all to understand. Again, we are talking a lot about Paytm today, but again, Paytm did not come into business directly. So they, in fact, if you look back history on how Paytm came into being, they started more as a mobile recharge company, or where people could very effortlessly or seamlessly do recharges. So the basic idea which I'm expressing here is, do not think that if there is an idea or if there is a startup which is already there, should you or should you not do it? So the question is, can you identify a niche? Can you identify a specific sector? Can you identify a specific target audience? Or can you specify a specific geography or a region or a location or a set of customers so that you can provide service to your customers? In fact, as a matter of fact, there are still a lot of other e-commerce companies which are only focusing on specific regions or specific locations or specific set of customers. I will again give you one more example, a company which is called as a native suite. So what this particular company does is, they are also an e-commerce company, but their focus is only on identifying suites from different parts of India. So there again, the reason which I'm giving all these examples is because they could have very well felt, okay, already a lot of e-commerce companies are there. Why do I have to start another e-commerce platform? So the you look at the focus, right? So they have picked only that specific area of suites or native suites. That's a specialized area. And now again, look at another area example of a first cry, or the company which is only focused on kids or children's products. So all I want to specifically let you know is, identify which product, which category, which segment, and which set of customers you will want to focus. Now that you've seen the other platforms, look at again focusing on the fashion industry. You have your Nike of the world, or Mintra or Jabong earlier. So you see that companies identify niches, or companies identify specialized products or service offering, and see how they can be relevant in the industry. So, for the benefit of people who are here, the basic idea which I would again want to express here is, first thing is, find opportunities which is there in your community. So, if you are based in Jabalpur or across Madhya Pradesh, see what is happening around you. You may want to see what is very fragmented, or which sector needs support, or which segment still the adoption rate is less, or where the brand pull is less. Because many instances, wherever the brand preference is very less, and which is very fragmented, and there is a lot many steps involved, then there is a higher possibility of you focusing on getting your startup up and running. So that's the first specific point with regard to how you find opportunities within your community. And with regard to, no, I'll get back to the earlier slide. I have a couple of other points to share. The earlier slide, please. Yeah, thank you. So, and another specific thing which I would also look for you to see is, if you already have been working in the industry, which are your own personal experience you will want to do. So, this is especially for people who have been running your own business, or who have already been working in different companies. Look at where your expertise is. Look at where what is your core competency, then you will be able to accomplish it accordingly. So that's a very specific point. This is especially for people who already have industry experience, because many instances, whenever you are looking to move to get yourself funded, a lot of people, the investors, see what kind of experience you bring to the table. So that's a very very important point. See if you can use your personal experience to your advantage. So that's the main point which I want to express here. And the third point is another interesting point. You also have to see ideas where other people get involved. So, taking the same example of companies which are already there, see if you can also provide service support to people. Do not look at your competitors as competitor. I mean, sorry, your other companies as competitors. See if you can collaborate with them. What are the problems they are facing? What support do they require? So those things you will have to look at periodically, so that you can get more advantage from. And the last point which I would definitely like to offer here is, many instances you may not know everything. That is completely fine. But are you ready to go out and ask people? So which is where अगर आपके पास कुछ एक्सपर्ट व्यूज किसी के पास चाहिए, कुछ कंसल्टेंट्स या कुछ इंडस्ट्री प्रोफेशनल्स, किसी से भी आप इंटरेक्ट करके आपको इनपुट्स चाहिए, आप उनसे बात कर सकते हो और उनसे आप इंफॉर्मेशन ले सकते हो. So the most important thing is, do not be afraid of taking help and assistance from people. It could be your friends, it could be your family, it could be your extended network, or it could be your earlier community which you had been involved in, or it could be a random person whom you think can guide you. The most fundamental thing whenever you're looking to start an idea is, you should shed away your shyness. You should not get worried about, what will the other person think. So do not be very keen on those aspects. Shed your shyness and then go about asking to people, uh, so that you can benefit from people. And in fact, I would say the minute you ask people for support, the entire community is ready to support you. See if you can take such assistance. And in fact, so much so that, again, I would like to offer some examples here. Companies like the founders, like Paytm or Redbus, they themselves have helped other smaller companies. So you see a lot of companies or founders of companies are ready to invest in interesting idea and startup. So you see, in fact, in recent times you would have seen that the person like, say, Ola Cabs owner, or the people who invested in these companies, they are ready to invest in new age startups. So do not worry about reaching out to other entrepreneurs and as well as industry specialists and consultants. Go ahead and reach out to people. Do not be very shy about it. We'll move on to the next slide, please. So this is a very very interesting point. So difference between an idea and opportunity. Many times, each of us will have wonderful ideas. So in fact, I have many ideas. So Akash ji will have multiple ideas. Lalita will have wonderful ideas. Everyone will have wonderful idea. But how are we wanting to put these to practice? So in fact, that execution is something which is very important. And how do you convert that to an opportunity? And when I talk about opportunity, it's about how do you pick that idea and put a plan and make it work. I think that's a very, very important element. And in fact, there could be other people who may have wonderful ideas, but even with whatever idea you have, you can make it work, provided you put it to action and uh, understand what is the outcome which comes out of it. It need not be the right outcome, but the most important thing is put it to practice and see what happens. So which means failing fast is a very very important thing. Do not think what will happen. Do not wait for the right idea, because the opportunity may just run away. And like I said, many times, fortune favors the brave. And here in the startup community, fortune favors the person who's fastest. So how effectively are you going to uh, focus on your idea and then get it to fruition? So be watchful about it and make it work for you. That's the most important thing. Like I said, if you are there with your right idea, with the right set of people, and with the right time, that's a very very important. Because most importantly, if you see different, again I would like to again take an example of WhatsApp and Telegram. So each of us know WhatsApp, right? So why is it we know WhatsApp? Because WhatsApp has a first mover advantage. WhatsApp हम पहले देख चुके हैं, व्हाट्सएप प्लेटफॉर्म हम पहले देख चुके हैं। अगर मैनी इफ आई स्पीक विद मेनी पीपल, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को व्हाट्सएप ज़रूर पता चला होगा। क्यों व्हाट्सएप सभी को मालूम है? क्योंकि व्हाट्सएप फर्स्ट मूवर एडवांटेज है, व्हाट्सएप के पास है। अगर टेलीग्राम आप देखेंगे तो टेलीग्राम के पास बहुत बढ़िया फीचर्स है, बहुत बढ़िया फंक्शनैलिटीज़ है। और या ग्रुप्स या जो कुछ भी फीचर्स अगर आप देखेंगे तो टेलीग्राम बहुत बढ़िया है। मगर टेलीग्राम व्हाट्सएप देखेंगे तो खाली फर्स्ट मूवर एडवांटेज एडवांटेज के हिसाब से ये बहुत ही वो कस्टमर एक्विजिशन और कस्टमर ट्रैक्शन बहुत ज़्यादा है। So that's a very very important point I would like to express here. Do not wait for your idea. So the minute you see opportunity, just go jump it. Do not wait for the right time, because now is the right time. So if many of you are thinking that I have an idea, I will wait for a long time to get to the market, no, don't worry about it, because there could be other people who are just in the sidelines, but they may act faster. वो शायद आपके पास बहुत बढ़िया आइडिया है, मगर आप इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के लिए ज़्यादा टाइम लग जाते हैं। खाली दूसरा पर्सन आपके बाजू वाला जो कुछ भी है, कोई भी है, अगर वो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एफर्ट वो करेगा, वो शायद आपसे भी आगे बढ़ेगा। बस, so that's a very very important point I would like to offer here. Idea was an opportunity. You can make an idea become a better opportunity only when you act fast. Do not wait for a long time. Put it to practice immediately. So that's a message I would like to offer here. Thanks. I'll move to the next slide.
So before moving to the next slide, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Uh, I want to ask what type of sources a person can do research for his idea so he can make a better product for their customers.
Okay. So the basic, there are definitely some couple of tools which I would like to offer at this stage. So one is, uh, I mean, the Google search is something fundamental. I'm sure everyone would be accessing it, and you could also look at brainstorming. So what when I say brainstorming, you can see what options are available in the business already, and then you can do it. Let me quickly tell you some certain things about it. Maybe I can start to share my screen also. Give me a minute. You can look at a platform like Startup India. So 1 minute. I hope I can. You can see my screen. Uh, is my screen visible? Can someone confirm?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay, 1 minute. Is it visible now?
No, sir, not now. Yes, sir, now it is.
Okay, so the basic thing I would like to offer here is within the Indian context. अगर स्टार्टअप इंडिया पे आप देखेंगे तो इधर इस पे भी ज़्यादा कुछ इनपुट्स दिया है इस पे. You can look at the market research reports, and you can also look at the kind of different startups which are available within the Indian market. So this is something you will definitely want to look at. This is an immediate thing you may want to review and consider, because you will get to see what kind of companies already exist, what kind of products are there, and what kind of so you can very well see, right? You have different industry sectors, and you can see what kind of different options are there. So you can see. So this is something which will give you a good idea on what kind of companies are already there. And you will see here again. See, this is where you will have to understand at the earlier point I was mentioning. Do not worry if there is already a company. So let's say you are focusing on agricultural services, and so it's possible that there is a company which is already there in the agricultural domain. But the question is, how effectively are they doing it? Which region are they doing it? So you may think that they are competing, or you may think that they are competing with you. Possible they may be in a different stage where they are still working out on the business model. But the basic idea is this will give a good idea on how your competitors, or who are their competitors, and this will give you a good idea to evaluate you vis-a-vis the competition. So this is something you will definitely look at. You can see all the list of companies here. You can see what kind of sectors and which stage. See, when I say stage, are they in the ideation or validation, early traction, or scaling? It gives a good idea for you. And which state, so which means अगर आपको जबलपुर आपके स्टेट पे भी आप देखना है, you can look at Madhya Pradesh as a region, and then keep filtering details. So this is something which will be a very useful idea to understand the nature of companies which are there in this particular nature of business. So I hope this is helpful. Give me a minute. I'm going to be
Yes.
sharing another platform, which is again quite useful. Again, this is a very, very specialized platform only for the Indian business. So, other there, 1 minute. Give me a minute. I'm just trying to share the platform to you. Uh, is my screen visible? Not as yet. I will have to.
Not, no, sir, not yet.
Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. मैं दोबारा भी share करता हूँ. Uh, okay. अभी दिखाई दे रहा?
No. Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, okay. So you can see this website, vinos.in. So this is again a very specific Indian specific startup ecosystem, very similar to Startup India, but then it has a lot more layers. So you can see that around 84,000 startups are there, and they have a wide set of details which are covered. Let me quickly take you through some details on the platform, and you will get to see what you can see on the startup. So the biggest advantage of this platform is you they have classified on the basis of different filters, and these filters, using the filters you can search further. Let me take the case of agriculture. Again, I'm just trying to pick an example. Let's see agriculture, what kind of startups are there. एंड अगर आप इधर देखेंगे तो इधर ज़्यादा कुछ इनपुट्स दिखाई दे रहे हैं मेरे को 173 स्टार्टअप्स, और ये खाली एग्रीकल्चर स्टार्टअप टेक्स्ट सर्च से मेरे को आया है. और इट ऑल्सो गिव्स मी सम डिटेल्स ऑन what similar startups are there with regard to this company. So let's say I'm taking one particular company as an example. Let's say this Usman Agriculture as an example, and it will give some perspective on similar startups. So this will give a good idea on what are the other similar startups which do very similar business to the company which we had shortlisted. And here we can also focus further on which location and which sector, which region. And so here I can again look at. So I'll remove this, and let's see. Let me see if I can only see for startups in Madhya Pradesh, and then you can get to see a different picture here. Okay, so I can see that 2,503 startups are there only in Madhya Pradesh. And here, if you want to go,
Sir,
yeah,
so
yeah,
your screen is not properly working, I think.
I will reshare my screen. Give me a moment, but thanks for letting me know. I'm going to be sharing the screen once more. Thanks, Lalita, for the input.
Okay.
I will share it completely so that, is it better now?
Yes, sir, it is better now.
Okay, okay. So I was just taking the example of the startup state, Madhya Pradesh. I've selected Madhya Pradesh as the state, and if I want to go further down on, let's say, Jabalpur alone, I can very well do it. But here, if I want to do something within this, I can very well do. So I can see within, let's say, Madhya Pradesh, if I want to see data or analytics. So here it tells me that around 10 startups are there in Madhya Pradesh. You can see the region. You can very well see it's in Ujjain, it's in yeah, Indore. So I hope all of these are within the regions in Madhya Pradesh.
Yes.
So yeah, so this is a good idea by which you can do it. And if you think you want to select on the basis of, let's say, DPIIT registered or incubated, or if you want to see if they've got funded, so you can review that as well. So you can, or you can see on the basis of founders, and here you can very well see founder city. So let's say founder city, if I want to put Jabalpur, I hope I get it, but so, Lalita, can you help me which one I can pick within this, or uh, a city in Jabal? I mean, or I can
Sir,
always.
you
It is
Indoors, indoor.
sir,
Indore,
you
right?
can
Okay.
yes, sir, Indore.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I can pick Indore as an example, and then I can go ahead with it. So here I can see in Madhya Pradesh, in Indore, and then four analytics startups. If I want to remove analytics, I can remove it and then refresh it. So these are some very simple ways by which you can use the platform, and you can see that around 543 startups are here. So this is a very quick idea, an example on how you can use this platform for your benefit. So depending on whichever your business is, you can go ahead and search for it. So this is a very effective tool which I thought I'll quickly run you through. And apart from this, there is a concept of SWOT analysis. So let me quickly run you through what a SWOT analysis means. SWOT analysis is nothing but strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. So when you let us assume that you have researched this idea or the business, and you identify five companies which are focused around your area or region, and you want to compare that particular company. So what you will do is you will take the concept of strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So, strength is something. What is the strength of your company? So, this you can actually do it for every particular company. Let's say you've identified four or five companies, and take all of these and then see what is the strength of your company. So, do you have a team, or do you have a structure which can be more effective? And or do you have a funding structure, or do you think you have access to people? Again, many times we think that I have to have got a funding today. No, don't worry about it. It's not you have to receive a funding today. Do you have access to funds? So let us say, which means, do you if you know a few people, or if you're already incubated by certain startup, it will give you a higher likelihood of you getting funded. So do not think funding is going to be a challenge, but it is important, but do not think it is a limitation. Otherwise, what is your strength? Do you have effective technology? Do you have effective a team, or do you are you already solving a problem which is more closer to what the customers want? Are you getting repeated customers? Are you getting increasing business? So there are certain metrics you will monitor to see whether you are in good shape. This is on the strength part for your individual self or your own company. So now the same aspect you will focus with regard to all other competition companies. So this will help you identify where you stand with regard to the competition. This is with regard to the SWOT analysis when I talk about the strengths. So this is the first part. When I talk about the second, it's more about the weakness. So the weakness can be anything. So let's say a weakness, a simple example of a weakness could be, अगर आपके पास टेक्नोलॉजी थोड़ा कुछ कम होगा, शायद वो आज का वीकनेस है, मगर that's not a big challenge, because many times I have myself seen founding members who are not technologically good, but if the idea, if the solution you want to offer to your customers is good, automatically things will evolve. So do not worry that anything is a challenge, but yes, you have to understand that it is a weakness, which means if you're as long as you are clear that technology is an integral part of your business, try to see that yes, it is important, but you're solving problems, but how do you overcome your weakness. That is a very, very important point. So understanding your strengths and understanding your weakness will help in prioritizing your task or where you will have to put your resources. So a simple example is, let's say technology is something which you are not too good. You can possibly look at identifying a mentor who can help in guiding you through that particular phase. That's a simple example. And then once you are better positioned, you can get a person on board on the technology front. This is a simple idea I'm just giving you. But and coming to the opportunities and threat. Opportunities is nothing but what what is something which is more favorable to your business compared to your competition. So let's say there are companies which are focusing on different parts of Madhya Pradesh. So let's say there is a company which is already doing a very similar business, but they are only focusing on the metros and the towns. So which means your business model is also same, their model is also same, but they are focusing only on metros. Then they are solving a problem of a different kind. Coming to your case, you may be solving a problem only for a specific set of people, which means you are already very different. So for instance, if you are focusing on the rural market or the villages, then it's a completely different case. So do not, so which means your focus on the opportunity is completely very different, and you're already assuming and thinking that that is where the opportunity lies. So coming to the opportunity part, where do you think the opportunity lies and what is the potential it offers in the future? So look at evaluating all of these elements and see how you can grow that particular side. Coming to the threat part last, what challenges are there which are similar or unique to that particular business? For instance, e-commerce. E-commerce as a business, what is happening? Is it going on a positive direction, or is everyone taking technology, or is government coming down strongly? What are the elements? So what, how is the industry being impacted? So these are the things you will have to assess, so that you know whether you are in on track with regard to the elements. So like I said, with regard to the strength, weakness, opportunities. Strength is something you compare yourself on what is something you are good at, and you compare and rank your competition. And on the weakness, what is something which you do not have good control over. Opportunities is something which you have a great possibility of doing better business in the future. And threat is something which is a negative factor which might be a problem for you in the future. Most importantly, you have to understand this today, because when you're creating or doing a business startup, it is for the future. You're assuming that the business will run for the next 5 or 10 years. So you're not running a business today. Yes, I will run the business and then tomorrow I'm going to shut shop. No, you want to run the business for the future. Always look at the long term and look to see that your business. And many times people think, yes, I will start a business, I will increase valuation and sell. Do not have a very short-sighted view. Always think as if you will run the business yourself, and it will be a very sustainable and scalable business model. Look at this in a very long-term view, so that you will be able to focus on it very holistically. And the other aspects you have to focus on is, which location do you want to set up a business? See, here again you will have to focus on where. So let me take a very, very different example here. We've been talking more about e-commerce until now. So let's assume you are looking to start up a store, a store, a physical store. अगर कल ही एक दुकान आप you want to set up a store, तो आप क्या करेंगे? So there are some fundamental things you will have to see. अगर देख लोगे तो कुछ छोटा दुकान आप you want to start, you will always want to see who will be the customers, which means you have to put it in a residential area. A simple example, or something where a marketplace or a market where many people will step in and step out. So this is a simple example. And having said that, if you want to start up a stationery store, I mean, the first one was more about a grocery store, a kirana dukan. But agar if you want us to open up a stationery store, it's not necessary you will have to have it in a market on a residential place. You can think differently. अगर आप आपका स्टेशनरी दुकान कुछ स्कूल के बाजू में आप चालू करें, so your business can grow. So look at what your business is and how you will want to focus on acquiring customers. So I hope I make you understand these basic ideas on what a ideal location is. And the other aspect, so let's say no, I'm not doing a store, अगर कुछ लोग बताएंगे तो मेरे मेरे को एक सर्विस बिजनेस डालना है और कुछ, let's say you want to open a service business, which means people are going to come to your store and then you are going to provide some service offering and people are going to go away. So ये सर्विस बिजनेस चालू करते समय थोड़ा कुछ इनपुट्स देखना है. अगेन द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज रेजिडेंशियल यूटिलिटी देखना पड़ेगा और ये मार्केट प्लेस देखना है. मगर इन इन दोनों पॉइंट्स के अलावा ये कौन सी कस्टमर, ये कस्टमर्स को कैसे पता चलेगा और ये कस्टमर्स कैसे आएंगे और कस्टमर्स को एक्सेस कैसा होगा. अगर कुछ आपको सेगमेंटेशन देखेंगे, कुछ ये कस्टमर्स कैसे आएंगे, पैदल आएंगे या बाइक पे आएंगे या कुछ गाड़ी बड़ा वाला कार पे आएंगे कुछ. सो ये आइडियाज आप देख लेंगे तो इसी के हिसाब से आपका बिजनेस चालू करते समय आप देख सकते हो. अगर आपका कुछ पार्लर जैसा कुछ सर्विस बनाना चाहते हो and that parlor is very premium. So let's say you offer services which is any service offering कम से कम 500 या 1000, इससे कम नहीं है. You already segmented the customers, which is it a little upper medium or a high premium outlet. So in such instance, you will already assume that a parking facility is something you can't avoid. So I hope you understand the points. So in any kind of business, whenever you're looking at a store, a storefront, कुछ दुकान जैसा जगह या कुछ सर्विस जैसा कुछ आप चालू करना चाहते हो, आपका ये बेसिक डिटेल्स आप देखना पड़ेगा. Where are you keeping it? Do you want to keep it near a residential place because you think your customers are there, or if you are focusing on a very specialized space, you may want to focus on it. On a similar case, let's say if you're looking to start something related with medical services, ideally a pharmacy, you will always see it is close by to a hospital or a doctor or a practitioner or a healthcare professional. So you will always have to see how the customer acquisition will happen. That's a very, very important point. I hope you will understand this point. And coming to the price point, I think price point is something which is innately there in the business model. You will always see who your customers are, how you will provide the service offering, and what would be the price point. You can always say, no, my price point is the lowest in the business. Great. This is fine, completely fine. But is it going to be viable? Are you going to make business profit? Because जो कुछ भी आप बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, शुरू कर रहे हैं, आपको प्रॉफिट बनाना है. ये प्रॉफिट बनाने के लिए आपको ये अमाउंट जो कुछ भी आप रेवेन्यू बना रहे हैं वो काफ़ी है कि नहीं. सो यू विल हैव टू, ये प्राइसिंग, जब भी आप प्राइसिंग के बारे में बात करेंगे आपको बिजनेस प्लान बनाना पड़ेगा. अगर बिजनेस प्लान क्या है? Business plan is very simple. Many people think, no, it is very financial, it is very tough. No, ऐसा थोड़ी है. बिजनेस प्लान बहुत आसान चीज़ है. ये कॉस्ट, ये सर्विस ऑफरिंग कुछ भी आप किसी को वो कस्टमर्स को देने के लिए कॉस्ट कॉस्ट कितना पड़ेगा, और ये जो कुछ भी अगर प्राइसिंग के बारे में अभी हम बात की है, कितना कस्टमर्स आएंगे और आप कितना प्राइस पॉइंट्स आप लगाएंगे और रेवेन्यू कितना आएगा और रेवेन्यू के ऊपर आपको प्रॉफिट कैसे बनाएंगे, बस इतना ही है. कॉस्ट मतलब व्हाट इज द कॉस्ट विच इज रिक्वायर्ड. सो अगेन द कॉस्ट कैन बी रेंट. So if you do not have a place of your own, you have to pay rent. And apart from rent, how many people do you want to recruit? ये जो कुछ भी आप सर्विस ऑफरिंग देने के लिए आपको कितना जन चाहिए, 1 2 3 4, जो कुछ भी रेंट, आई मीन ये किसी के लिए भी आप सैलरी देना पड़ता है, इसलिए वो जो कुछ भी आप बिजनेस प्लान में लगाना चाहिए. एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट मिस्टेक many entrepreneurs make is you do not pay yourself. Many times you have to think yourself as a person part of the business. जब भी वो बिजनेस प्लान बनाते समय आपका जो सैलरी जो कुछ भी है भूल जाते हैं हम. ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. अगर मेरे ख्याल से क्या करना है, जो कुछ भी है, अगर ज़रूर ये स्टार्टअप करते समय आप ज़्यादा अमाउंट नहीं ले सकते, वो ठीक है, उसका कोई पंगा नहीं है। मगर आप ये एक बात बताना, यू विल हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड वन वेरी वेरी सिंपल पॉइंट। जो कुछ भी है, थोड़ा कुछ अमाउंट आपके लिए अलोकेट करना है। that amount can be anything, but always allocate some small amount for yourself, so that you understand your value is also recognized. Because you will say, no, एक साल के लिए मैं पैसा नहीं ले लूँ, ऐसा नहीं है। और 2 साल प्रॉफिट लेने तक मैं कुछ भी नहीं ले लूँ, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए। आपका आपके आपके बिजनेस में आपका एक you have a value, and that value has to be accommodated, because the most important thing is what will you focus. Because if you can't don't want to do everything, right? Because many times in a store, there are certain activities to be done. There is a sales function, there is a marketing function, there is a HR function, there is a IT function, and there is an administration function. This is a very very fundamental thing I'm giving. May not apply for all businesses, मगर इनमें से किन किन चीज आप करना चाहते हो, और इसी के बारे में आप अलोकेशन करेंगे। ओके, आपके बिजनेस में अगर कुछ आप प्रोडक्शन और कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स आप मैन्युफैक्चर करेंगे, तो एक एक आइटम्स आएगा। अगर एक सर्विस बिजनेस करेंगे, सर्विसेज के लिए एक एक चीज अलोकेट करना है। How do you allocate these so that the cost is determined? So, coming to the business plan idea, the cost allocation, which means you will understand the salaries, the rent, if any, कुछ भी rent आप किसी को देना है, और the service offering, कुछ अगर एक products जो कुछ भी करना है, इसके लिए cost लगेगा। So the cost. So if you're doing a manufacturing business, you will have to procure raw materials. So that is a cost for your business. This is on the cost. And coming to the business, marketing is again a cost, because many times people think मैं startup हूँ, मैं marketing नहीं करूँ। ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए। एक जो कुछ भी आप आपके पास बिजनेस है, मार्केटिंग के लिए थोड़ा कुछ अलोकेशन करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि ये बिजनेस प्लान बनाते समय कस्टमर को कैसे पता चलेगा आप मार्केट पे है। ये मार्केटिंग के लिए आप कुछ प्रमोशन के लिए कुछ न्यूज़पेपर में ऐड जैसा कर सकते हैं, मगर वो थोड़ा महंगा पड़ जाएगा। अगर ये नहीं कर सकते हैं, कुछ दूसरा क्या कर सकते हैं, इसी पे डिजिटल मार्केटिंग आएगा। डिजिटल मार्केटिंग एक चीज़ कर सकते हैं, मगर दूसरा बात, वो डिजिटल मार्केटिंग करते समय वो कस्टमर्स उधर है कि नहीं। अगर आपके मार्केट पे डिजिटल मार्केटिंग ज़्यादा कुछ लोग नहीं देखते हैं, तो डिजिटल मार्केटिंग करने में ज़्यादा कुछ फ़ायदा नहीं है। Always see where your customers are and then look at investing in marketing. That's a fundamental part on the marketing. This will also be part of your expenses. And now moving on to the customers, you will have to prepare a sales plan.
So,
Yeah. Ah,
before moving on to the customer, there is a question as we are talking about marketing. So, there
okay.
is a question from our viewer that which social media channel we can use for our marketing.
Thank you, Lalita, and thank you for the question from the audience. So many people, जो कुछ भी लोग सोचते हैं मार्केटिंग करते समय सीधा जाके फेसबुक पे डाल दो, फेसबुक ज़्यादा कुछ प्रमोशन लग जाएगा। ऐसा थोड़ी नहीं है। और नहीं, आज तो ज़्यादा लोग इंस्टाग्राम देखते हैं, सीधा इंस्टाग्राम पे डाल दो। नो, ऐसा थोड़ी है। You have to again see where your, I mean, so question here is what is your target audience and what is your service offering. So to address the question here, if you are doing a product which is more fashion oriented, a more B2C, which means if I'm picking more impulsive purchase, or if there is if I'm selling a product directly to a customer, a B2C business model, then I would recommend Facebook and Instagram. So this is on the promotion part. And Instagram, if more, if your product is towards fashion and accessories, because more people, in fact, interestingly, there is a trend where there are a set of people who are called as social media celebrities, or influencers in the digital world. So they tend to sell, or get products sold through their platforms itself. So I would recommend that if your service or product offering is more fashion oriented, or for women, or it is a B2C product, then you can go for social media tool like Facebook or Instagram. But on the other side, if I am doing a business which is on B2B, which means I am selling to another business. अगर मेरा business है और मेरा customer दूसरा business है, so I will not recommend you to focus on the social media like Facebook or Instagram, for the only reason being these people are more prominently using a platform like LinkedIn. So in you may want to focus on LinkedIn. And another important thing is, do not put money into LinkedIn immediately, because you have to focus on the basic things. I would recommend this. Do you have an active LinkedIn account? So let's say if you are an entrepreneur, अगर आप एक स्टार्टअप फाउंडर हो, तो पहले आप लिंक्डइन पे थोड़ा कुछ एक्टिवली आप यूज कर लो. दैट्स द फर्स्ट टास्क. सेकेंड टास्क इज, अगर यदि आपके पास कंपनी ऑलरेडी है, तो कंपनी का एक पेज बना लो. क्योंकि आज जो कुछ भी कस्टमर्स है, पहले फेसबुक जाते हैं, गूगल जाते हैं, और फिर लिंक्डइन पे जाके ये लिंक्डइन पे एक कंपनी है कि नहीं, वो जैसा देख रहे हैं अभी. So the next thing which I would recommend is, do you have a LinkedIn page for your company? So this is something I would highly recommend you to do. And another thing which I have not mentioned so far is on the Google Ads. So the reason why I'm not showed or mentioned to you about the Google Ads is, Google Ads will take care of your YouTube promotion as well. So these are the things you can possibly do. And since you've already asked these questions about the digital presence or web presence, I would highly recommend you to consider Google My Business. So in fact, let me see if I can show that particular thing. I will. I mean, considering there's a question, I will take the liberty of sharing my screen again. 1 minute. I hope you're able to see my screen. Otherwise, is my screen visible? No. Can someone confirm my screen is visible?
No, sir, not yet.
Is it visible now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, I'll reshare again because I just shared it. 1 minute. Now,
No,
No, sir.
sir. Actually,
it says sharing my screen. No.
no,
No,
sir.
no, sir.
Uh, okay, okay, maybe I'll stop screen. I don't know why it's not happening. Uh, I would recommend people to go to Google My Business. Google My Business is a platform. You may want to just log on and create an account. If some of you are thinking that I have to have a website, do not worry about it. If you're still in the ideation stage, you can still go ahead. Even with your Google Gmail account, you can create the Google My Business. So it is very simple, straightforward. You can check it for yourself. Maybe I'll see if there is a way by which I can share it to audience. Maybe I'll share the link to the team here, and maybe they can see if they can open the screen. So Akash, you could check if the link can be accessed. Otherwise, no problem. It's a very simple tool. So I hope that was useful for the question. So now coming back
Yes.
to the business plan part, we discussed about the cost, we discussed about the various elements, we talked about the marketing expense which you'll have to focus on, and you will have to focus on the sales plan. So when I was talking about the sales plan, you have to give an estimate on how much revenue can you make, or how much अगर आप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बिजनेस कर रहे हो, तो कितना प्रोडक्ट्स बेचोगे आप. So that's a simple question you will have to ask yourself. So which means based on that your production plan will evolve. कितना बेचेंगे आप हर महीने के लिए, हर हफ्ते के लिए, हर दिन के लिए, और हर साल के लिए. सो दीज क्वेश्चंस, अगर इसी के हिसाब से आपका प्रोडक्शन प्लान बदलेगा, दैट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. ये प्रोडक्शन प्लान के हिसाब से आपका परचेज प्लान बदलेगा. लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर इंटर रिलेटेड. सो आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, विच इज़ वेयर ये सेल्स प्लान बनाना बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है. और इसी के हिसाब से आपका बिजनेस, आपका विजन बढ़ेगा, और ये पोटेंशियल कितना है आप सही तरह से आप जान सकते हो. एंड ये सब खत्म करने के बाद, ये सेल्स माइनस मार्केटिंग माइनस कॉस्ट, वो आपका प्रॉफिट है. So I hope you understand these elements and you can make it work for you. And like I said, do not. So some people may be providing service free of cost. Look at all those elements, because which is where companies are considering. Okay, no problem. I'm not giving you money. So people start to think about giving shares or ESOP. So these are some different ways by which you can make people work for you. So these are some examples I'm giving you. So now I've focused on the business plan. Now move on to the customer. So the customer, in fact, in your entire business, you are existing only because of your customer. You have to understand this very important thing. It is not the other way around. So identifying who your customer is, what do they want, how do they come, and so here from a customer standpoint, you will have to use a concept of empathy. So when I say empathy, always put customer in the center, and think. So for the next 20-30 minutes you have to think, अगर एक कस्टमर आएगा, कस्टमर कस्टमर को कैसे पता चलेगा आपके पास एक स्टोर है या स्टार्टअप है या वेंचर है, कैसे आएगा? So which means, is he going to Google and then come to your store? Is he going to call and come to your store? Is he going to see that, oh, okay, you have a store and I will walk into the store? Or is will there be a call center which will call, सर हमारे पास एक बिजनेस है, आप अगर आपको कुछ सर्विस चाहिए तो आप हमारे पास आ सकते हो. Which means, do you want to put in a call center to help getting customers? How will the customer come? Or will you do a SMS campaign? Will you do a email marketing campaign? Or will you do a marketing promotion? How will the customer come to you? And which is where the other question is, why should the customer come to you? So you will understand the customer will come to you for a specific reason, and which is where the competition evaluation comes into play. So will the customer come to you because you are giving good service, or your products are great, or do you have a very big portfolio? Do you have a variety, or do you have do you deliver fast? Let's say the competition or the store next to you are giving a delivery in 3 days. Let's say, can you do it in 2 days, or can you do it in 1 hour? So see, in fact, if you notice what is happening in the industry today, these are the ways by which companies are differentiating. So you would have seen Swiggy, Instamart. They are saying, "I will deliver in 30 minutes." Why do they have to do it? They don't have to do it. मगर ये सब कंपटीशन से ऐसे आप विजिबिलिटी के लिए, कस्टमर एक्विजिशन के लिए, और अगर आप मुंबई में एक कंपनी है, इसका नाम जेप्टो है. वो खाली 10 मिनट में डिलीवर करता है. देख लो, 10 मिनट. I mean, 10 minutes, the customers, the delivery is going to happen. So these are the basic ideas. So how are you going to do it? So the basic ideas: customer, put the customer in the center and look at what the customer wants. Why do they have to come to you? Look at the competition, and what is so special about you? Or do you want to give attractive discounts? Do you want to give some additional benefits, or do you want to give some subscription? Look at all possibilities. So effectively, from a customer standpoint, if you were a customer, what will you do? How will the customer know about you? And then all of these will come to play. This is where I would like to introduce another simple tool here. There is a concept of survey. You may want to come out with a survey to understand where the gap is, because whenever we're talking about this idea generation itself, so I, whenever you do a survey, you will identify, you will understand where is the gap in the market. So that's a very important tool. Let Again, I hope I can share the screen. Can someone confirm if my screen is visible, or uh, can is my screen visible at all? No.
No, sir.
uh, 1 minute. I'm just trying to see where I or how I can share the screen. I just want to show this particular part, because this is a very important part in the evaluation part. uh, is, is it visible now?
Uh,
No, sir. No, 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 yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is where the Google form is all about. You can go about picking any of these. I'm just giving an example. So I'm taking an example here. I'm just opening it up. you can see that uh, I can just give name anything here. I can put in a particular feedback form, and then the startup name. So let's say you can give your particular details, and इस पे क्या क्या चीज चाहिए आपको. And one more important thing I would like to offer here is, यदि आपको ये डिटेल्स हिंदी में भी करना है तो हिंदी में ज़रूर आप कर सकते हो. एक सेकेंड में आप खाली गूगल ट्रांसलेट कर सकते हो, और अ, आप सीधा कॉन्टैक्ट नेम, तो आप सीधा इसके साइट पे ही आप ये सब ये आप देख सकते हो ना. आई होप आकाश दिस इज विजिबल, राइट?
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
it is visible.
या सो द आइडिया हियर इज, आपके कस्टमर्स को कैसे आपको व्हाट डज द कस्टमर नो. अगर कस्टमर्स अंग्रेजी पसंद नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं. आप अंग्रेजी चाहिए तो आप अंग्रेजी के पास भी हिंदी में लगा लो, नहीं तो इसको भी आप रिमूव कर लो, खाली नाम. So a simple idea, or it can just be naam, आपका नाम. So you can always do it. And likewise, you can collect the details. And इसके बाद इसके ऊपर आप ideas के बारे में थोड़ा कुछ please. ओके, और मैं एक ऐसे ही एक आइडिया दे रहता था. आई मीन आई जस्ट वांट टू क्विकली गिव एन आइडिया. सो हियर इफ यू वांट टू कलेक्ट सम इनपुट्स on what they think is a problem they are facing in a current offering, and then you just do a option. So you can see that I can collect all the details. And email, अगर आपको email नहीं चाहिए, खाली आप contact number ले लो. contact number का दिया, अगर आप हिंदी में चाहिए तो आप ऐसे आप सकते हो. और बस अगर आपका एड्रेस चाहिए तो आप पूछ सकते हो, नहीं तो इसको भी आप डिलीट कर सकते हो. जो कुछ भी रिपीटेड है आप, बस ये काफ़ी है. और इसके ऊपर सेंड अगर कर लो, इधर आएगा, ये शॉर्ट एंड यूआरएल कर सकते हो, और फिर ये कॉपी पेस्ट. बस ये आसान से आप कर सकते हो, और आपको व्हाट्सएप पे आप वो कस्टमर्स को आप बेच सकते हो. अगर ये इसके ऊपर आप थोड़ा कुछ करना है तो ये एक बिटली नाम का एक वेबसाइट है. इस पे आई होप दिस स्क्रीन इज विजिबल, द बिटली लिंक इज विजिबल.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. It's
या
the
थैंक यू. सो अगर आपको इसको भी थोड़ा कुछ कस्टमाइज करना है तो फीडबैक स्टार्टअप आइडिया, तो कुछ भी आपका नाम चाहिए आप सीधा करके ये सेव कर सकते हो, और फिर ये आपको आ गया अभी बिटली फीडबैक स्टार्टअप आइडिया. बस ये काफ़ी है. आई होप दिस इज विजिबल. और ये लिंक आप सीधा आपके कस्टमर्स को व्हाट्सएप पे आप भेज सकते हो. द रीजन व्हाई आई एम गिविंग दिस आइडिया वाज अबाउट this, so that you can help people understand these different ideas, and they can suggest options. Because most important thing you have to understand is, customers will always look at better ideas, customers will always want better solutions, customer will always want competitive pricing, customers always want some new offering, and it will help in their service delivery better. That's about the basic idea I'm trying to offer here. Is these are some inputs you will want to look at to focus on this. So, can we move on to the next slide, Akash?
So pardon me, first of all. Actually, we
Okay,
have little bit time slot problem. So can we
okay,
wind up quickly?
okay. Sure. I will, I will. So, can you share the screen, and then I'll quickly focus on summarizing the last few slides. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, Lalita, for the time check. I understand. I just noticed it. Uh, the basic thing. Here, so now is a question. In fact, I did cover a couple of things. When someone is already focusing on an idea, do not think that it is a competition for you. So don't worry about it. There is a segment in which you can focus on your business. That's a very important thing. And use the market to your advantage. I did give some very important examples. I did tell you that there in India itself there is Flipkart, there is Amazon, and there is Snapdeal, And there are other new companies also, and there are new websites coming out, there are new e-commerce coming out. So do not think that it is not possible. Always try to see how you will want to differentiate to the companies, or how to your customers. And the other important thing is, today investors are looking at identifying how or what is special or what is different. So as long as you're passionate about it, you can always go about doing it. So that's the most important thing. It'll ensure you will be able to excel and get better. And like he said, always listen to the customer. So I gave the example of putting the customer in the center, and also collecting feedback and information from the customers. So survey is an example, but it need not be survey also. You can go talk to people. You can go listen. You can see what people are posting on social media. You can, which is called as social listening. You can see what complaints. So customer complaints is an amazing place, because customer complaints means there is an opportunity. If there is a customer who is cribbing, a customer who is complaining, what bakwas service, bakwas service, then it is a solution for you. It's an opportunity for you. So always look at where customers are having a pain point. Automatically you'll be able to maximize a solution for you. So these are some ideas. So which is why listening to customers is very important. And like I said, always take assistance from experts. And another thing is, when I talk about validating your startup idea, always don't wait for the right idea. If you have an idea, try to put it to practice and see if you can take advantage. That's about it. So we'll move to the next slide. I'll quickly try to wrap up the next in a minute. Okay, so again, to adding on these points, again, the most important thing is delivering value to the customer. Why does the customer come to you? Why do you want to serve the customer? So these are some things which is very very important. And I did tell you, in fact, the second question here, being first isn't always an advantage. So another interesting point which is very important here is, today in this day and age, companies are I mean, let me take the example of mobiles. So mobile is a very interesting case. In technology and mobile, you see Nokia was a market leader. But what happened with Nokia? So Nokia at some point 5 10 years back, it was having a very healthy market share, 50 60 70% market share. No one can, I mean, everyone always had a Nokia mobile phone. So but today what happened, over course of time, other brands came. Samsung. In today we're talking about Xiaomi, we're talking about Realme, we're talking about Oppo, we're talking about whole new lot of brands. But then the most important thing is, it is not always necessary being first is an advantage. You can always see how better can you do certain things, how better can your product be better. Another example on the e-commerce, since we've always talked about e-commerce, take the case of Taxi for Sure and Ola. So Taxi for Sure was the first company which came on board, but Ola is the one which is still alive and active. How have they been able to do it? Because they have been able to take funding and then acquire the first company itself. So there are possibilities. So do not lose heart. There is always a way by which you can stay better, you can get better and improvise further, and see if you can do something better. So if there is a layer there, what additional things can you do something better? So these are things you will want to focus on, so that you can ensure there is still a market potential for your business. So I hope that helps you on that. So can we move to the last slide, or is that it? Okay, so like I said, most important thing is be original. Do not think that okay, it is work, it will always work. No, don't worry about it. It always is about you focusing on your idea, your business, and then servicing your customers. And always think that whatever you focus, let it be consistent, let it be in line with what the customer wants, let it be a solution to help the customer, let it solve a problem. So try to always see how you're focusing on these ideas, so that you can be unique in your offering and ensure you will be able to sustain and grow your business. So don't be worried too much, but always focus on very very simple aspects, and be very truthful to yourself. Do not try to copy, because copying is not worth it, because any business owner will always have a vision. So what is your vision? Because it may be very similar, but then if you want to do something very different from what your heart says, it will not be right. So always think about what is something which is very passionate to you, what is something which is of your own self. Be very honest. So those are things which you will have to focus, so that you will be consistent in what you communicate as well. So I hope these things are very very important, and you do not sidetrack on the most important part. The last slide, or are we through? Okay, so these are some other additional things which I want to mention. I've already explained it. These are some specific points. Many most important things I did mention to you. Competitive intelligence. When I say competitive intelligence, you can check out on Google. You can check out on internet. You can check out on Startup India. I just gave you example. You can also focus on Vinos. I gave you the platform details, and also see how these details are evolving. And also, whenever you're looking at these details, go further onto the social media platforms. Go to their website, go to the social media platforms, go to the Facebook page, go to their other platforms to see what they're doing. Are they doing anything different? How frequently are they giving communication? How are they communicating? And apart from digital, what are they doing on newspaper? Are they coming out with a newspaper advertisement? Are they coming out with a radio campaign? Are they coming out with a newspaper inset, a flyer, or do they have a physical catalog? Are they doing an email campaign? What are they doing? So that you know what you are doing vis-a-vis the competition. Very very important. And with regard to the business itself, most important thing within your organization is you have to ensure the employees within your company are in line with what the company is offering. They have to know. So let's say you're offering three services or five services. Everyone in the company should know all the five service offering. You cannot have a situation that, oh no, मेरे को मालूम नहीं है, मैं पूछ के बताता हूँ. No, that will not help you. Whatever service you're doing, everyone in your company should know all of it, so that you can grow, because there is an opportunity to get business from every customer or every employee. So try to see, and the minute you miss it out, it is a lost opportunity. Be very very watchful about it. And you will always have to see how you can continuously improve on all these aspects. And I did mention to you earlier on the market insight. So the feedback is a classic example. How do you constantly get feedback? Can you monetize it? Can you get more new innovative ideas? So one aspect is about the feedback. Always see what customers want in addition. So you can always ask, great, I am doing ABC services. What other new service do you want from me? What price points do you want from me? These are some simple examples you can give, so that you can benefit from introducing some new service in the future. Because the most important thing is your business will have to keep evolving. Your business will have to be in trend with the market aspects, and you will have to keep growing. So that's an important thing. And lastly, there will always be negative customers. There will always be people who will say, ये तो बहुत बकवास है यार, ये सर्विस तो अच्छा नहीं था. It will happen. It is unfortunate, but then you have to understand that it will happen. But most importantly, how soon can you correct it? So I will give you some simple example here. In fact, I will tell you some examples. You can try it for yourself. अगर आपको कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तो क्या करोगे आप? पहले कस्टमर सर्विस को आप पूछ लेंगे. आज in today's day and age, if the customer service by email or phone or toll free number does not respond properly, customers are going to scream on social media. अगर आपके पास सोशल मीडिया पेज हो और आपका सर्विस थोड़ा कुछ समय कुछ खराब था, and that time you will understand that customers are going to voice their message in the social media. You have to be ready for it. And the minute, see, which is where you have to resolve that complaint. See, you can't the most important thing when you receive such negative feedback is to acknowledge. अगर वो service खराब था उस समय, that's okay, no problem. Accept first, yes, it was a mistake, and how can you do better? So because if you say no, it was not my mistake, no, customers are not going to agree for it. So कुछ अगर कुछ गलती आपके तरफ से कुछ हो गया, तो आप you have to accept it first, and then make a corrective course of action. That's the most important thing, so that you benefit, because customers will understand that it's human to make mistakes. सभी सब लोग तो सब जन मिस्टेक करेंगे, सब लोग कुछ ना कुछ समय गलती जरूर करेंगे, उसका कोई पंगा नहीं। मगर आप, yes, I made a mistake, accepting is something which is the fundamental thing. Are you ready to accept, हाँ मेरी तरफ से कुछ मिस्टेक हो गया, करेक्ट, बट आई एम रेडी टू करेक्ट, मैं इसको सीधा करने के लिए कुछ एफर्ट जरूर डालूंगा। That's it. So the minute you do all of this, automatically you'll be able to damage your reputation and ensure that you're consistent. So that's all I would say. So don't worry about it. It will happen, but how do you step out, and how do you keep your word? How do you improve, and how do you ensure that same mistake does not occur? So these are some simple things you can do so that you can grow in your business. So I hope you will definitely follow these and ensure you will benefit from these. I think this would be the last slide, but I'm ready to take up any
Yes.
questions. आकाश जी और ललिता जी, अगर कुछ यदि कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं तो मैं ज़रूर अभी लेने के लिए तैयार हूँ।
Sir, there are some few questions like which business analytics, how to analyze the business from Google.
ओके ओके, गूगल, ओके गूगल एनालिटिक्स पे एक चीज़ है। गूगल आपका, अगर आपके पास कुछ वेबसाइट है तो आप, ओके गूगल माई बिजनेस या एनालिटिक्स, ओके सो गूगल माई बिजनेस में से सीधा एनालिटिक्स नहीं आएगा। सो अगर आपके पास एक वेबसाइट हो तो वेबसाइट से गूगल एनालिटिक्स डिटेल्स आप भिजवा सकते हो। So which means you have to have a website, and from there you will be able to get it. But coming to the Google My Business question itself, you will definitely have some basic details which you can pick, but it will largely be with regard to the nature of the, like how many visitors have come to that page, because the Google My Business is nothing but it is not a website. You have to understand that Google My Business is only a page Google is allocating for your business. So the website is very different and Google My Business is very different. But within Google My Business, yes, you can definitely find some basic details. And most importantly, अगर आप गूगल माई बिजनेस में अभी आप रजिस्टर कर रहे हो, उस पर ज़्यादा कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन आप लोड कर सकते हो। आपका प्रोडक्ट ऑफरिंग क्या है, आपका सर्विस ऑफरिंग क्या है, अगर आपके पास कुछ फोटोज है आप फोटोज डिटेल्स लगा सकते हो। और अगर आपका बिजनेस टाइमिंग्स कौन सा है, कौन सी टाइम आपका बिजनेस चालू करते हैं, और फिर कितने बजे आप बिजनेस शट डाउन करते हैं, और वो कुछ डिटेल्स एनालिटिक्स अगर देखेंगे, आप जितने लोग वेबसाइट देख रहे हैं वो सब आएगा। मगर आपको गूगल एनालिटिक्स जैसा डिटेल्स चाहिए, आपको वेबसाइट बनाना है, और वो वेबसाइट को जब भी आप लिंक करेंगे, आपको गूगल एनालिटिक्स पे से आप देख सकते हो। So I think that is something which you will be able to benefit from there. But with Google My Business, there will be some information, but it will be limited because it is not a website per se. So I hope that addresses your question.
Thank you, sir, for such a very informative session. I hope everybody learns a lot from this session. And I would like to thank all the viewers for today's session. And thank you so much, sir, for your guidance and time you have taken out for us. And I would also like to thank my co host, Akash. Thank you,
Thank you,
Akash.
Lita.
And we will, for sure, for next week we will come up with a new interesting session. Till then, be learning and stay safe. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir,
Okay.
and thank you to all the viewers.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you,
Thank,
Lita.
thank you, Lalita. Thank you, Akash, and thanks to the entire Jabalpur startup smart city team. Thanks, and the
Okay.
incubation masters team. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, sir.
Same to you, sir. Bye.
And have a wonderful New Year 2022.
So same to you, sir.
Thanks.